Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Mortgage Coach Friday Mastermind. First Friday in a long time. I'm broadcasting out of my headquarters in Lake Oswego, Oregon. So I'm pretty pumped to be home. Been traveling a lot. Today, the big topic is how to have more conversations with real estate agents and how to have better conversations with real estate agents. So on the leadership team here today, we've got the co-host of this Friday Mastermind with me, Todd Bookspan. What's up, Todd?
Not much. Good morning, everyone. It is so good to see all of you today. And, it's good to see you back at home, Dave. It's I always like, kind of the where does Waldo, where's Dave as you're on the road. And it's good to know that things are back in full swing. You're out sharing your love on the world and educating people on how to be better and be mortgage coaches.
Yeah, well, it was awesome being live with you for a day and a half in San Diego at the Modern Mortgage Summit last week. So I had a blast and it was good to see you, brother.
It was fun, and it's crazy to think that we're like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks away from the Modern Real Estate Summit. That's just crazy that we're going to be back there again.
It is. So that's a big opportunity. We'll talk about that later, guys. We also have Deborah Bird joining us. First of all, welcome back, Deborah. I know you just overcame, well, I don't know if you completely overcome it, but it looks like you're at 80%. Well, looks like you're at 100%. But I know
yes, well, that's because my hair doesn't look like Albert Einstein with a lovely hospital gown. So thank you. I hope I look a little bit better than the poor sight that my sister saw me in for about a good week to 2 weeks. So it's good to see all of you. It was a eye opener to just be grateful for simple things like good health, and just seeing y'all's faces. I love what I do. I love working with the people I work with, and love this community. So what's up, everybody?
Yeah, no, this community is awesome. And I was recently watching the Q&A session that you and Shayla had a few Fridays ago. And I love how you guys talked about the community and the value you've both gotten. And you guys are both leaders of this community. And anyone who's on this, we're only as good as the participation from the folks on it. So thanks for everything you do. And we've got Mr. Scott Nicholson, top producing mortgage professional, modern mortgage professional, and the co-founder of Lender Launchpad. What's up, brother?
How are you? Good morning. This is number 2 in 1 week. It's a record for me.
Yeah, no, you killed it. You killed it on Tuesday. That was a great conversation. Lots of value. I mean, that's one of those calls. If you haven't watched it yet, go back and check it out. But we had a lot of good dialogue, a lot of great strategies. But let's get into it, guys. So,
yep.
Scott, was there something you wanted to say?
Oh, no. Yeah.
Okay. So first thing, before we give you the 3 big ideas, and Todd's going to share the first one. So first of all, they're not necessarily new ideas, but before we share the big ideas, I want to make sure that folks realize in order for these ideas to work, you need to have a certain mindset. And one of the biggest takeaways I had from the Modern Mortgage Summit is that every mortgage professional that was on that stage, and they weren't picked because they thought differently and they acted different than a loan officer. They were picked because of their production levels. They are massive producers, and they were picked because they're advisors. They all use borrower education, content, and advice as a competitive differentiator. So they do that. But if you have not read the manifesto we created from that event, guys, download this, print this. I put this into our group in about 3 different ways this morning, because I just want to make sure everyone can read it and everyone can download the PDF. It is in the file section of the group. There's a post on it. So there's a little thumbnail picture that you can read. And then, of course, I also put it in SlideShare. So you could share it and you can download it. But this is the commonality that all of those folks had, is they're not just in the loan business. They're in the business to help solve the financial literacy crisis in America. They want to make sure that every time they meet with a family, that family gets the transactional data that they need to move forward, but they want to make sure that family knows how to build wealth with real estate. They want to make sure that they're helping that family achieve their financial goals and become financially free. And so that matters when it comes to getting meetings with realtors. That matters when having a better conversation with a realtor. Because if you're not thinking like this and you're not delivering this kind of advice at the point of sale, really the only thing you know how to talk about is rates, program, qualifying, new program came out, new loan limits. And I'm not saying those transactional news points and talking points are bad. I'm just saying it's a red ocean. Every loan officer is doing it. It's not unique. It's not valuable over the course of a lifetime. So I want you guys to think differently. Todd, anything you want to add to that before we get into idea number one? Any, call it think differently, manifesto conversation that you want to say?
I think two things. One, for those of you who didn't watch the Modern Mortgage Summit, when we bring those people, or those of you who did as well, when we invite those guests, those speakers, we don't give them coaching on what we want them to talk about. And the fact that so many of the biggest producers in the country created content around this very topic about being more fiscally literate and being a better advisor, local, modern advisor to their clients speaks a lot, right? If the best loan officers in the country are having the most success thinking that way and advising their clients that way, the first aha should be, hey, maybe that's something I should consider. And so, first off, I think you have to really start there with those, that's kind of the trend. And then what I loved about it was that you said, hey, this is where we have to open the show, right? When we were really sitting down to discuss it, it was just fun to see that where you were thinking and where the content came all aligned so well. And it just brings me back to when I got in the mortgage business. My buddy Steve, who ended up opening a brewery because he didn't love the mortgage business, he said, Todd, you should get in the business. And I kind of laughed at him. I'm like, dude, I'm getting my MBA. Like the only cocky, well, not the only cocky thing, but one of the few things I've said that's been a boast about myself. I was like going to be a business consultant, but it's like, you know what, you would be great. He said, you actually like people and you understand the numbers and you're passionate about people's finances. And that was really it for me when I got in the business. And I followed people. I mean, you guys know my story. I got mortgage coach accidentally on my first day of the business, but I became super passionate about it. So I would encourage you to do what Dave said. I'd encourage you to read it and think about it and really figure out, what do those numbers mean to you? How can you internalize that, right? Whether you've been in the business for 12 months or 12 years, you've got experience now where you've seen clients who bought a home that you helped them get a great loan, and now they've got home equity. They went from almost no net worth to now having net worth because of the advice that you gave them. And so I would take to heart what our call to action is, which is to read this, internalize it, and then create your own, and then go out there and be sharing it on social, be living it with your clients, and not just improve your life while you're doing loans, improve everyone else's around you.
Deborah, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think right now is such a critical time that you have such an amazing opportunity with it being the last quarter of the year. It's the holiday season, so it makes it really easy to pick up the phone and call your past database, which that is something that we'll talk about later on this call, that will really help your real estate agents, because I think most of you would agree that agents are probably worse than lenders at staying in touch with their database. But, with this being the end of the year, in December, there's a lot of lenders that do business planning classes starting in December, so that you're starting your year off right come January. So it's really critical that the things that we talk about in this call that you execute right away, so that you're warming up that relationship to invite them to maybe that class in December, and then continuing the education where they go ahead and they put in their calendar where you're going to revisit this plan, where there's not only are you a mortgage coach, but the guide, and just, you don't have to hold them accountable, but it's just being more intentional with business come 2022, and not just reacting, which I think a lot of people did this year. It was really easy to sell a home. You could put a for sale sign in the yard and you were going to have 18 offers in the first 30 seconds. So there's a lot of opportunity, and it's such a critical time where it's, I think, the easiest to start reaching out to agents or even your database, simply because of the time of year we're in.
Yeah, no, really, really good point. I mean, this is a time when most loan officers have less conversations with agents and have worse conversations with agents. So this is market share pickup time, where hopefully if you're in this community and you're active in this community, you're going to have more conversations, you're going to have better conversations. And we're going to share 3 ideas that we think are all 3 home runs. So get ready for that. Scott, anything you want to add before we get into idea number one?
Yeah, I think Deborah, that's exactly where my mind is. And I'll expand on Deborah's thoughts. I'll view out even further, expand the view and say, not only is it Q4 of 21, but we're now winding down, so to speak, a pandemic where we've been solely focused on refis. And as the market's shifting right now, I mean, let's be real, there's going to be people who came in the last 12 months or 24 months that if they don't adjust, and we say it every, 2 or 3 years, and realize the magnitude of the refi market was so deep and so many people did it, their rate and terms, there's really nothing left to do other than focus on your purchase money and your strategy refis. So if you're not adjusting because this pandemic's winding down, and not only that, the timing. And I'm a guest here for really one reason, because I shared some things I'm going to share with you guys what I'm personally doing with Dave and Todd's event coming up to leverage and grow my real estate. I need to grow that footprint immediately.
So the last thing I want to say before we throw it to Todd and we do idea number one, and we're going to try to do these ideas in about a 10-minute session where Todd's going to present it. We're all going to give feedback on it. Remember, guys, this is a mastermind. We want your feedback on it. And then we'll have plenty of time for Q&A. And we'd love for you, like, if you're like, oh, those 3 are great ideas, but how about this idea? And you either ask us about it, I'll tell you where I would put it in my priorities. But before I do that, I want to share one more post. And I put a link to this. So whether you're watching this in Facebook, it's in comments. If you're watching this in Zoom, it's in chat. And if you're watching the recording of this, there'll be a link down below. But your homework is make sure, one, you read the Modern Mortgage Summit Manifesto. And then here's a great example of where Michelle Castle, she was one of the speakers at the event, she's starting to put it into her own language. She's starting to like take that manifesto and make it hers. And she's sharing social media that one kind of gave honor to the event. She was a speaker. And Todd and Adam sent a really nice gift out to everyone. So that was really cool for all the speakers. Great job, Todd. But she's starting to like, what's important to her? Like, how does she want to take not the full manifesto, but sound bites from it and start putting it on social media? And so, my goal for everyone on this call, if you want to get more meetings, have better conversations, you need to think differently. You need to think bigger. You're a mortgage professional. Our hope for you is that you're going to be the most valuable advisor to families, period. More valuable than a CPA, more valuable than a financial planner, more valuable than a life insurance agent. And you and a realtor collaborating together, really, the two of you could be co-captains of the wealth team. And you're going to bring that to them like, hey, let's be co-captain in the city that we're in the market that we're in, working together, we can own a bigger part of this market share. So let's get into idea number one. Todd, if you don't mind unveiling it and then walking us through it. And guys, let's try to keep it to about 10 minutes. And then Deborah's going to unleash idea number two.
Awesome. Well, you have all heard idea number one, but it bears repeating. It is helping your real estate agents do a CMA a day. And if you watched any of the previous quarter, we did TCA a day challenge. We did TCA day accountability where Deborah and I, with Jeremy Forcier leading the calls, Jeremy walked through how he's doing CMA a day with his real estate agents. And it's just a great opportunity. We're talking about how do we close out 2021 and gain momentum heading into 2022. And the best way to do it is what we just talked about. It's getting belly to belly and creating better relationships, deeper relationships with your real estate referring partners. And the best way to do it is to help them get back in touch with their database, right? Their database is wondering what's going on with the market now. There's no time like today. There's just the Adam data came out talking about foreclosures shooting up, which means that they went from this to this, right? Barely moved. But now every consumer in America is worried that they're going to have a financial crisis all over again. And so your agents need to be that voice. They want to be the expert. They're going to go to Zillow and Redfin and all these places and read what they're saying about the market versus actually hearing it from their trusted professional, their real estate agent. And what I found over the past 10 weeks of interviewing real estate agents who have tried and failed at the CMA Day Challenge is they're struggling with how to do it, with what to do, what to say. And so I've created tools for all of you to share with them. I'll post it in a minute here in the Zoom chat and also in Facebook. I interviewed Jimmy Burgess. So you've all heard the story, but just in case you've been living under a shell and you haven't, Jimmy Burgess is the real estate agent from Florida. He's a leader now at Berkshire Hathaway, but back when he produced 2 years ago, he spent the fourth quarter and he sent out 72 unsolicited CMAs to clients. Now, he didn't overthink it. He didn't, decide, oh, I'm only going to send it to certain people, but he cherry picked the list. And I'll in the video that I'll post where I interviewed him, he explains that list. And then he also explains his tech. And so I'll let him talk you through that as well. But those are the things that your real estate agents are stuck on: who to reach out to, what to say, and how to do it. And Jimmy goes through all of that. And then I'll post a second video that's going up on YouTube today where I actually got 3 examples from Jimmy and I play him and I walk through exactly what he did. And I'm going to also post those into the Win by Noon user mastermind group. You can all join it. You don't have to be a Win by Noon user. Just go there, say you're part of the Mortgage Coach group. I will let you in and you'll have access to those videos to download those videos, and you can share those videos with your real estate partners. Now, to play the CMA Day with your partners, you don't need to pay any money. Over in the file section, which is over to, I think, that side of our Facebook group here, you will see that there's a CMA a day free 4-week tracker that you can get. Certainly you can buy the 13-week one that Jeremy and a lot of other successful loan officers in our group have used, but we got a free resource for it. And my goal is just to make it easy for all of you. And then I've got great interviews coming up. I've got Glenn Bill coming on. I've got other top realtors who've committed to come on and share how they're using this strategy to grow. And I'd invite you to jump in and watch those, because it'll help you figure out how to implement it into your day. And then lastly, Deborah and I are working on it. We'll announce it next week what we're going to do, but we're going to bring in some sort of accountability over in that group too, where we'll have a couple of loan officers and hopefully a couple of real estate agents who are going to be willing to share their successes and struggles of how they're using it. But the bottom line is I think you already know it. I don't need to make the case for why you need your people to do it. But in the end, Jimmy Burgess, when he did those unsolicited 72 CMAs, he listed $11 million worth of homes. He sold 9 million of them, is before stuff was flying off the shelf like it is now. And then the crazy part is that over the next year and a half, where he was out of production, where people literally just went back and found the old CMA and reached out to him, said, hey, Jimmy, can I get an update? He sold another $5 million worth of listings and another $3 million worth of buyers from 72 emails. So think about that. He did over $15 million in transactions by being disciplined less than 30 minutes a day over a 90-day period. And so my call to action over in the Win by Noon user mastermind group has been 60 CMAs for this quarter, not even 72 like Jimmy did. I subtracted out, with the week between Christmas and New Year's, I subtracted out Thanksgiving week. There's about 55 working days left this year. So even if you just can do the rallying cry of 50 CMAs with your real estate partners, but be that person, belly up alongside of them. And I think you've just got a huge opportunity. And what I love is that Scott's got some great strategies he'll share in a moment of how he's making it even easier to work together. Deborah talked about, she talked about annual mortgage reviews, but again, you guys can do your TCA a day, combine it with that real estate agent, and you can take it to a whole nother level.
So I'm going to bring you on next, Scott, to share, how are you making the most of the CMA Day strategy? But guys, I like this strategy for 4 reasons. 4 really simple, clear reasons. Number 1, it's different than the conversation most loan officers are having with realtors. It's just different. Like, every loan officer in America is not coming to agents saying, hey, I want to help you have more CMAs in the marketplace, and I want to help you deliver a more compelling CMA in the market. That is not common, so it's unique. Number 2, it's really valuable to an agent. Like, the more CMAs they do, the more listings they get. The better the CMA they deliver, the more listings they get. So it's unique and it's extremely valuable to an agent. Number 3, it's a great segue to positioning yourself as an advisor, because you can, let's put a move up analysis on that. Let's put a cost of waiting. So it's a great way for you to take something that agents are doing all the time, listing agents are doing these CMAs and say, hey, I got an idea to help you get better conversion on your CMA. And it requires you being an advisor, not just a loan officer. So those are 3. And number 4, I love this idea because Todd is doing this weekly, through the end of the year in the Win by Noon community. So if you're not already a member of the Win by Noon community, Todd's providing accountability, weekly training, Q&A. So it's a great strategy for the 3 reasons I outlined. And you've got someone who's providing you coaching and accountability through the end of the year. So idea number 1, I'll let you decide what the most valuable idea is, but that's it. Scott, how are you making the most of this, and how are you modernizing a CMA for agents?
Yeah, so let me frame kind of my role in this call. And now I'm going to start to add some meat for the loan officers. Okay, so I got all this stuff. What's my first step to do? So one huge opportunity everyone has, and I'm going to share some personal stuff with you. So write some notes. I'm going to be really high level. I'm going to be rather quick. And then you guys can come back to me as a panel and ask some questions. I'm going to show my desktop. I'm just going to show the reports. I'm not going to dive into it. First, this event that's coming up, the Modern Real Estate Summit, is a huge opportunity for us originators, for a reason to bring the agents to the event, met or non-met. So last year I went, made a huge mistake, bought my tickets. I only used a little bit of it. I was late to the game. I was totally disorganized. My follow-up event sucked. And so I've made some changes. I'm going to give you exactly what I've done already. Number 1, I went to Todd's window on Tuesday and bought 100 tickets. Why did I buy 100 tickets? Number 1, I'm licensed in 3 states. I have great coverage and relationships. And number 2, I need to expand into different territories and water and cast a larger net to increase my purchase because inventory is super tight. Number 2, I've modernized my sales force, meaning I've gone to some local, very good relational title reps who are helping me because I personally don't know 100 agents, but they know thousands of them. So we're going to easily fill up that 100 ticket allotment. Not only that, we're delivering the tickets on a text for ticket. The reason why, because I was so disorganized last year, when they text for that ticket and that link, number 1, I got the name, I got the cell. Number 2, obviously I'll get the email, and then it creates a drip campaign going into the event and obviously setting up my post event. Step number 4, I have an event the day or post event. It's actually a week later, and I'm going to go into some of that content. And so one of the speeches I'm going to give him going into the event is this: Tiger Woods actually helped golf, but he destroyed a lot of golfers and a lot of bodies because of who he was. So my speech to my agents going into this event is this: find someone on this real estate panel that's like your body, like your mind, like your market, right? That you can relate to. Take 1, you'll probably get 2. And that's who we're going to focus on, because most people focus on something they don't have the skill set, or a wrong marketplace, and it fails. So that's a really common, simple message I'm going to make. I'm going to share for 2 more minutes. I'm going to show you the exact content, how I'm setting this up. Number 1, I'm going to move my desktop, and what you're seeing right here, can you see my desktop? I've taken the modern CMA and I've actually modernized it. This is me working with my listing agents. Remember, I have 2 groups. I'm going to split my agents, one in listings, one as the buyer side, because they have 2 different problems and 2 different needs. So this is my listing side, how I'm working with them through the event and post event. Number 1, all I have to do is create the CMA for me. I'm using Lender Launchpad to upload it, but here's the secret. This is where it starts to separate. CMA is a CMA, but if you notice, I have a custom video. Remember, we're going on a job interview to a consumer we don't know yet. So number 1, I need to separate myself and differentiate myself. Number 2, I need to build trust with my agent. And this simple video, which I'll share with you guys, this is me introducing my role. Number 2, I have 2 CDs or 2 TCAs. I'm a problem solver, and I'm solving problems on appraisal, and I'm solving problems on lowball offers. Stephen Asuna, a broker agent of ours is 4 for 4 out of the gate with the CMA format right here, because he was problem solving with his TCAs. Number 2, with same listing agents, all I've done is added a net sheet with the CMA. This is a net sheet on there now. Now I'm working in the past clients database. This is HomeBot, guys. This is us going into HomeBot and saying, okay, Todd, my agent, what are we gonna net? 200,000. Great. Guess what I just did right here? I did a custom TCA showing the consumer for the agent here how to invest the 200,000 in a move up transaction, right? So now I'm done with listing agents, or I'm done with number 1, getting the target. And I won't dive into these. Once I get the listings, I market the listings. A TCA involves again. When I sell the listing, we go to a just sold. I will share this later, but think of what I have here for listing agents. Modernize the CMA, include the TCA for problem solving skills. When you get it, the listing, market the listing. When you sell the listing, go back to the just sold and go do it again. Now, the second thing, my second agents, and I'll just 30 seconds and I'll be done. This is my modern pre-approval. This is how I took a rate shopper rocketbetter.com referral the other day, submitted the offer to Kathy. We got it accepted because I submitted the offer this way, because I included the TCA, I separated, built trust immediately with my little custom video, and I gave it a clear, concise plan. I showed them how we're going to do it. Insurance was my appraisal gap strategy. Offer accepted. Last one, Dave spoke about it. This is how I push the higher loan limits out into the market, because you guys are just writing text. I actually did a custom video with the TCA to show exactly the benefits of that higher loan increases.
Scott Nicholson, Mortgage Possible. So we got
which is huge. 4,000 gets us 84 more in house. And not only that, this is what I allow my buyer's agents to share to their marketplace. So there you go. There's my little CMA or Modern Real Estate Summit coming up.
All right. Well, and remember, we're going to talk about that later, Scott. So let's save that for then. So guys, what I hope you connected the dots on with what Scott just shared is, the CMA, and one of the things we've learned is that, one, a lot of agents, there's agents that don't even understand what a good CMA is. And then what we have also found is that most agents, and even the best agents out there, don't have a great modern CMA. It's a PDF. It's not good looking. It's not modern. In many cases, it's an email with a link to a PDF. And what Scott just did there is he modernized it. He's using the Lender Launchpad and he's modernizing it. So, Deborah, I want to get to the next idea soon, but I want to make sure you have a chance to give color around what Todd shared, what Todd and Scott shared.
Well, so, the title of this was how to have better conversations with real estate agents. And I believe and agree with you, Dave, it starts with mindset, but also what types of questions are you asking agents when you're having those conversations? Are you doing most of the talking, or are you doing more of the listening and uniquely seeing them? Because they're saying challenges that they're having and learning what does success mean to them? And getting deep, like really building a relationship that gives you permission to go further, where then I wrote this question down as just one that I would ask. How are you planning to win mind share and defend your position? And just let them talk. Because again, you've got to understand their challenges in their business. A lot of them, they don't know how to market. They don't have a personal brand. They don't know how to create a content strategy to win mind share. And at the end of the day, the one who gets the most eyeballs and traffic wins. That's what creates trust over time. So I would up your quality question. So that's one I would ask. How are you planning to win mind share and defend your position? And then go deeper. Why you, and why do you matter? And whatever they say, take the notes. And then that goes to step number 2 is then, okay, prove it. How can you consistently prove this each week? That maybe it's your expertise. Prove to me why that matters. Is it the way that you stage homes? And again, you've got to learn their business and their language of, is it the professional photography? Is it, you can't do anything about location, but maybe the condition of the home. Did you make some recommendations of certain upgrades that gave you, possibly a 6% lift of, profit? You've got to then prove your personal brand consistently. And then the last thing I would say when you're having those conversations is building a team, because you are only going to go so far on your own. And part of that includes having a very strong lending partner, title partner, as well as maybe a transaction coordinator. But how are you positioning the CMA, which no different than a loan officer? The loan officers I work with, their number one differentiator is mortgage coach and a TCA. So how do we rip off and duplicate a similar model for the real estate agent, and maybe combined with a lender launchpad presentation? Now we have a certified equity assessment that combines a traditional CMA with a TCA, where we're looking at equity delivered on a platform of a high touch, high tech platform. Now you're differentiating and you're having a higher level conversation because you're adding value to their business. And they all are wondering, how can we not be Amazon and Zillow? Like, what can you, that would be my second question to them. What can you do or provide that Amazon and Zillow can't?
All right, so I got to interrupt because Dave's going to jump in first, but come on. Certified equity assessment. All right, trademark, Deborah Bird, you guys can all use it. That was awesome.
Mic drop.
And it's different, and it's valuable, and it helps you be an advisor. But
that's what we do as lenders. I mean, my lenders, that is their number one differentiator is mortgage coach. So how can a real estate agent adopt, whether you call it something different and then you work with a lender who helps you package it, like with Lender Launchpad, combined with a TCA, now you can call it whatever you want to call it, a certified real estate plan, whatever. But now you're differentiating.
So guys, we're more than halfway through, and we have 2 more ideas to go. So let's keep that in mind. And remember, guys, this is a conversation we're going to have all year long. And this is a conversation where Todd in the Win by Noon community will help you execute on this. And at the end of the day, you're going to help upgrade all of your realtors' CMA. You're going to help them modernize it, and you're going to help them get more listings. And you're going to do it as an advisor and as a modern mortgage professional. Idea number 2, Deborah Bird. What is idea number 2?
So idea number 2 would be starting with, I believe doing a kickoff party, and we're kind of running in, what is it, October? It's October 15th. So I would make it November 3rd. And you could start it with just an hour of a meeting. And maybe it's the keynote that you start with, where you can say you have Ryan Serhant speaking and you want to fill a room of having agents come to your first meeting. And then the goal from there, and again, I would only have them there for an hour, not the whole day. That way you can then leverage the content from the Modern Real Estate Summit each month after. So idea number 2 would be buying them the Win by Noon real estate version of their planner. You bring your planner, you start with a kickoff party in November, so that you're starting your business planning and putting some goals and thoughts on paper, with having Ryan Serhant kind of lead it with his keynote, and then bookmarking, which if any of you who've gotten your first planner from Win by Noon, what I love is it comes with a year like card stock of a calendar. So I would put that out and have everyone, it's a mastermind business planning that's going to be every month. And maybe you say it's every Wednesday at noon that you're going to do a working lunch, and you can pre-plan. Okay, let's start with, anniversaries, birthdays, the important things, but then let's look at our calendar and let's really content plan, because we need to be educating the community on, sure, values have gone up, but what does that mean to them? So how many videos are we going to send out a week? Make the commitment. How many emails, how many direct marketing? They need help with marketing. So use that calendar, map out the first quarter, put the big milestones of like the big holidays and then your own personal life events, and then keep the accountability train going with the mastermind, where you're consistently adding value while also providing education, because I believe learners are earners. And again, started off with the big kickoff party. You've got Ryan Serhant, November 3rd. We're going to do this every first Wednesday of the month at noon. We're going to have a different speaker from the Modern Real Estate Summit, started off. And again, some of the talks are a little bit shorter, but then extrapolate, have a mastermind, get your planners out. What are we going to do differently? How are we going to measure that? The reality is we have probably like 2 or 3 years where it's going to be really good. And if it hasn't been good for you in this last year, maybe you need to get out of the business. I don't know. Don't say that. But I mean, honestly, it's like now it's time to execute. And there's no more time to jack around. It's been easy. Even some loan officers out there who have developed some bad habits and maybe haven't reconnected with their database. November 3rd at that kickoff party where it's Happy New Year for 2022. It's time to get to business. Look at how many people are in your database. Okay, how many calls are you going to commit to making every day from now until the end of the year? Track it. And then every time we meet, we're going to share those results. So I think my idea number 2 is you've got to get back to the face-to-face. And I don't know I think most people are no longer in lockdown, but the agent and the relationship is craving more face-to-face. So I always lead with value. I would leverage it with the speakers from the Modern Real Estate Summit, but then keep it going. Even if only one person shows up the next time, I don't care. You could take the same 8 agents maybe you're working with right now, and you just make small little tweaks with what you're doing each month, and your business will grow quicker than trying to find, 8 new agents just like them.
So when I heard all the things that Deborah shared, and I kind of put it under one package, she's first of all taken on like, hey, as mortgage and real estate professionals, we can solve this fiscal literacy gap. And not only are we doing good for others, but we're selling more homes. We're getting more loans. And then I heard her say that she's using social media. So she talked about a calendar and using social media. She talked about events. Hey, let's get together and have a kickoff event, and having, whether that's on Zoom or whether that's in person. So doing events, but it's all around creating content, educating community, and playing, remember, we've got this manifesto, solving the financial literacy crisis by showing people how to build wealth with real estate and providing education around the way. Todd, anything you want to add to that?
Well, I just, of course, love all those ideas, Deborah. And it's, you make it easy for people, right? It's people overthink it. Those of you who watch the Modern Mortgage Summit, remember there was 2 videos in there on one-to-many. So talking about how to fill that room. Michelle Castle did a great video on that, and so did Nicole Ruth. So you've got some other ideas of how to do it. But Deborah, you just laid out the plan, and it's first Wednesday of every month going forward between now and the end of 2022. And you're going to have a mastermind, and the content is super easy. You're going to play one video each time from the Modern Real Estate Summit, and then have a conversation with the people there around it. And then just ask the questions that Deborah asked and go around the room. And I just think you just laid out a plan that makes what people think is really hard, actually not quite that hard.
Which, let me add to that, when and some of the talks are only like 5 minutes. So when you're doing those masterminds, I think the lender still has to give themselves a good 10-minute, mini lesson teaching agents what we have learned about the fiscal literacy crisis that we're in, and how, Dave, you said it best. I think it was yesterday on Sales Mastery, how we are so understaffed in the debt portion of the world, where we have tons of financial advisors and insurance agents for assets, but who is the captain leading people with the crisis of the debt? And the fact that there's 27 million people, I think out of 45 million, who have student loans. And so these little micro lessons that you can equip your agents with need to be in those masterminds where you're teaching them. Y'all are all on the bus going together. So what that does is it creates an ecosystem and a level of conversation with your clients that remain consistent, because there's nothing worse. And I'm sure all of you have experienced this, when you have a newbie agent that doesn't quite understand the process and some of the third-party things that are not lender related, yet it's part of getting the loan CTC'd when it needs to be. And they just have a misconception of reality because they just don't know any better. So what are you going to do to help educate the other partner when you're marrying this relationship of building wealth with real estate? You've got to get your agents upping their educational game too around, the fiscal literacy concept. And so how are you going to strategically plan the content creation and videos as an agent and a lender?
Right. So I want to say something, but Scott, I want you to get ready to present just one strategy on how you're modernizing it with Lender Launchpad. So I'm going to bring that to you, and you're going to have 3 minutes because we want to save 15 minutes for idea number 3. But I want you to make sure you guys pulled something from what Deborah just said, student loans. So like literally, according to CFPB, 25 million people with student loans qualify right now to either have their payment reduced or to have them eliminated. Like they're sitting on that. And we rolled out this integration at Mortgage Coach with Loan Sense. You can check it out on the Mortgage Coach partner page. I'll put a link down below to our student loan optimization playbook. But guys, that's an idea. Whether the family needs to lower their payment to qualify for debt or not, you and real estate agents can be the heroes. Oh, you got student loans? Have you optimized those to make sure that you might qualify to have it reduced or eliminated? And we can do that for you. So that's a micro lesson within a bigger lesson. So Scott, you got 3 minutes. Give us a micro lesson with how, with everything Deborah said,
Yep.
Someone could take it and modernize it with Lender Launchpad.
Okay. So I think the thing, what I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you the move up analysis CMA report. How's that one? So what this is this is a move up analysis. This is a net sheet from the agent. Behind it is the CMA report, right? The values. And so my point here, this is a Met client, for an example. So this would be a past client of theirs. I'm going to give you tools to have that appointment, sit down with an appointment, because here's the key. Like Deborah's saying, these markets, and it's actually an easy one, just wait until the rates start to pivot a little bit, how difficult it's going to be. So we are front and center of problem solving financial 101, 201, and 301. So this is critical. You guys work just like this. So number one, we're going to take their CMA report. We're going to put it on Lender Launchpad account. I create a whole URL for this presentation. I have a little custom video because this client, let's pretend this client doesn't know me yet. This is a new agent I'm working with. I'm in his or her database right now, and I'm plucking move up buyers. They did the net sheet for me, which is right here, 200,000. I went into my Mortgage Coach, created a TCA. I'm loading it directly up into my Lender Launchpad account, this presentation in particular. And what they're going to see, and I did this really quickly with Todd and I in section 1.
Hi, Scott Nicholson, Mortgage
What they're
Possible.
seeing is I'm now taking this, right? I'm taking and doing a TCA and I'm investing. Here's their current situation. Here's the move up. And so now I'm creating value. I'm giving them solutions on how to take their current position. Now we got to move up. I think we're in the height of the market. Let's list it and then let's go buy. So you're creating opportunities not only for the consumer to help figure out financing, but you're creating opportunities for your agent. And when they get on a report like this, here's what's really cool. And I'll post this, is look at all the other content that the consumer, when they get this, and or if you're sending this blindly to an agent first to get the appointment, look at all the other content that they can search by as you're tagging additional content. So they can look at these other presentations, which happen to have all the other TCAs in there too. So there's modernizing a CMA report, but in particular, I'm adding the move up analysis TCA to support it. Without it, it's really nothing. Who cares about a net sheet? And when the critical is the delivery method, and then the support of the TCA with it is the catch.
Love it. So what is it? It's different. It's truly valuable to both the agent and the seller. And it gives you an opportunity to use your advice, your unique advice as a mortgage coach to deliver value. Todd, anything you want to add to that before we get into idea number 3?
Well, it's our favorite word of the week, modern, right? It's just a better way to do it. And, you said before, Scott, when you were showing it earlier, that your agent got converted 4 out of 4 listing presentations going in with the tool. And I mean, think about that. If you can empower your partner to have a better success rate, then that's going to be your partner for life.
Yep. Let me piggy on that. You know why they got it, Todd?
Nope, but you'll tell me.
Yeah, I know, right? So one common denominator in all 4 of them was the appraisal strategy. We submitted, we were thinking ahead, even though we may not even have it. They saw the video and says, you know what? The other ones weren't even giving this up. That's a thought on the seller's mind. What happens if we don't appraise and we fall at escrow? We gave them that problem solving solution in the CMA report, and it checked the box every single one of those 4.
Well, it always comes back to solving the unasked question, right? And as I said earlier, your clients are worried now about the values of their home. Someone who's selling is worried about the appraisal. And yeah, you nailed it, Scott.
So guys, idea number 3, I'm going to give you a micro lesson within the idea. And the person I'm going to have deliver the micro lesson is Kyle Whistle. He is going to be one of the speakers at the Modern Real Estate Summit. He is the #1 agent in San Diego. He is among the top 50 real estate agents in America. And he is a Jedi master when it comes to using social media and video. So check out this micro lesson, this micro idea within the big one, and then I'll unpack and share what is idea number 3.
What's up? It is Kyle Whistle out of San Diego, and I could not be more excited to be speaking for the 2nd time at the Modern Real Estate Summit. This year, I'm going to bring a talk on how 30 seconds of your life can literally change somebody else's life. And that is all by the power of one-to-one video messaging. That is a video from me, one person, to you, one person, and how that could literally change your life. Cannot wait to share with you on exactly how to do it and how we are impacting lives every single day. I'll see you there.
So guys, I believe that. I believe a message, a 30-second video can change everything. I have had a number of videos, a number of content that was more than 30 seconds. Simon Sinek's Power of Why TED Talk, over a decade ago, truly reshaped me as a leader. It changed the mission and the vision of Mortgage Coach. But guys, video is powerful, and one-to-one video is powerful. Kyle Whistle is going to share that at the Modern Mortgage Summit. And here's the deal. I believe that one single keynote, it's going to be less than 18 minutes, is something that if you were the one that brought that to a realtor and you were the one that shared it to him, what is it? It's different. Like other loan officers aren't bringing this type of quality content to real estate agents. It's valuable. Like we're going to have a whole stage of Kyle Whistles delivering their best ideas. And while some of them are going to be 18-minute keynotes, many of them are just going to be 5-minute presentations. So I don't think the secret is out. Idea number 3 is the Modern Mortgage Summit. It is, getting tickets to it. Scott mentioned earlier how he has some tickets to it. We're going to tell you how to get your tickets to it. And one, it's attending this event of some of the best real estate professionals in America, but it's also getting your real estate agents to attend this event. So I believe, and I've been told over and over, that most loan officers, the number of conversations, the quality of conversations, it's going down. Really starting right now. We're getting into the holiday season, and our goal is for the month of October, you're going to evangelize this event. You're going to give tickets to real estate agents. And then for the next 30 days, or really through the end of the year, you're going to take those best ideas. Remember, guys, when we do these events, we transcribe the whole thing. We have a learning management expert create these teachable notes, and you're going to have notes on every presentation. And you're going to pick like, hey, what are the 1, 2, or 3? Because I'm with Deborah. Like, hey, you want to introduce it to an agent, say, hey, watch the whole thing. And maybe you might want to have a watch party for people that want to come and watch the whole thing or come in and out of it. But at the end of the day, you want to come with an hour lesson. You want to come with a 10 or 15-minute lesson. You want to have some 3-minute lessons. You know, you want to have some 30-second lessons. So you're breaking it down. So to me, idea number 3, all month is you're evangelizing this event, and all the previous month, you're taking the best takeaways and the best ideas, and then you're educating, you're helping, you're inspiring your real estate agents to have their best year ever. So I guess, Deborah, let's go with you next. What are some of your thoughts on that?
I mean, it aligns with everything that I, was sharing with my monthly mastermind, which was simply getting in front of the right agents and, getting more kneecap to kneecap. So you're truly building the relationship. So the whole concept of having better conversations, again, my biggest takeaway would be you've got to start studying the business and learn to ask better questions. Stop asking the typical loan officer questions. Don't show up with your hand out. Be the one that solves their problems. And when I originated, and again, this doesn't mean everybody would do this. It was easy for me to solve their problem with marketing. I knew they needed help. They usually didn't create videos. They weren't creating a personal brand. They weren't differentiating. They didn't even know how to differentiate. So I went with what was natural for me and easy for me and what I was more, of an expert in because I studied. But guys, even for me to be able to create content for lenders that I serve, I have to consume so much information from the real estate market, from the finance market, and from the loan officer market. It's constant consumption so that you always have something relevant to share while being knee deep with them and in the trenches and feeling their pains. Because they're also, we're talking about how the interest rate market's going to be going up. They also have the gorilla on their back about iBuyers. And, the largest demographic right now who are buying and selling are the older generation. So, I was thinking of even a lender launchpad presentation with a different type of hook of like, are you thinking of moving after being in the same home for 20 years? What is it that an agent can do that's different than Amazon or Zillow by offering a solution? Again, be the solutionist of how can you help that elderly couple move? Because that's a pain, like there's a lot of, it sucks moving. I mean, bottom line, it sucks. And there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I just don't even want to have my home shown. So they're willing to pay a higher percent just so they don't have to go through showings. So how can an agent adopt and duplicate, but keeping it personal and building a tribe and a community? And as the lender partner of the team, you have to be a part of the team. And so add value, learn their pains, have monthly masterminds where they're there. Bring your planner. Like I'm all about leveraging stuff that's already created and it works. Like what Todd said, keep it simple. I used that planner and, I think Todd, you can even brand it where you could put your brand on the planner and it's some kind of accountability. Again, it doesn't have to be you're coaching them, but it's building that tribe where you're seeing people, you're building that character, you're sharpening your skills by committing to those daily actions, and throwing in some mass producers from the Modern Real Estate Summit is going to help you. Bottom line.
So Scott, I'm going to ask you in just a minute, because I know you bought the influencer pack. What are you doing to do that? Before I do that, I had talked to Shayla Gifford yesterday, and she's going to be creating a 5, no more than 10-minute video for the mortgage coach community soon. Hopefully Monday or Tuesday of next week, we'll launch that. And she had bought the influencer pack, and she's going to walk through what is she doing and how is she getting it to the market. So why do I like this idea? Obviously, Todd and I are putting on this event, so we like the event. We like the idea. But for the entire month, guys, and for the month to 2 months after the event, we're going to be coaching you, providing accountability, helping you execute on this. So if you go to the website, modernrealestatesummit.com, you can either buy a single ticket for $99. You could buy a branch pass or just call it like a individual team pass for 25 seats. And hey, if you're an influencer, you want to make sure every target realtor in your market, you want to be the digital mayor of a specific market, get the influencer pack. And that comes with 100 of these. So check that out. But I love this idea just because I know we're going to support it. There's coaching, there's training, and you're going to have some of America's most modern, most successful real estate agents, including the biggest brand in America. Ryan Serhant is going to do another presentation. I think Jason Mitchell is the biggest loan officer or the biggest real estate agent in the country. So he does the most volume. He's going to be here. It's going to be awesome. So Scott, what is your go-to-market plan? Because I know you bought the influencer pack of 100 tickets. Just give us 1 or 2 minutes on what are you going to do? How are you taking it to market?
So like I kind of laid out quickly in Todd and I's segment earlier, but I'll kind of slow it down and just summarize. So number one, I came in last year about the same pack, but I blew it. I came in late. That's why I'm suggesting you guys do it now. And not only that, Dave, I'll record a little 5-minute video today, and I'll specifically lay out my steps and all the assets I'm going. So I highly recommend you mobilize now. Get your tickets, get your invites, bring in your sales force, which are your title people. And that's how I'm doing it. And then I'm going to share the actual content when I go post event. I'm going to break it into 2 groups, listing agents and buyer's agents. And so I think that's the key. So one, I'm in 3 states. I think the timing of this event is perfect. I think obviously I'm the founder of Lender Launchpad, but remember, I'm the only guy producer on this panel. I'm still in the trenches day to day, and I want to keep growing my business because I've been slopping around in refis for 18 months. I got to get my butt out there in the purchase market. And not only that, I have to get into deeper water. So that's why I went with 100, because I'm in 3 states also. So I'm going to mobilize a big force and utilize my sales force, which are my title reps.
Love it. And looking forward to that video.
Yeah, I'll put it out today for us.
Yeah, put it out today in this group. I'll also get me the actual raw video so I can put it into our YouTube channel. And love what you're doing, Scott. And remember, guys, if you are not on that Lender Launchpad community, it's an amazing community. And Scott's put a link down below, or actually Todd did. Yeah. Todd and Deborah are influencers of the Lender Launchpad community. So use whatever link is below, become part of that. And it will not only help you upgrade your pre-approvals, it will help you upgrade CMAs for agents. So Todd, we got 2 minutes left, closing thoughts, and how do you want to wrap it up today, brother?
And 2 minutes, there's so much I could say. You know, I love the whole idea of where both Deborah and Scott, you are both going with it. You know, the thing that comes to mind about that is that, you know, once you watch it, whether you buy 1 pass for yourself or you buy 25 to invite your favorite partners, it's information for you to be a better partner for them, right? If they don't take the time to watch it, you have to watch it to learn what are the best real estate agents doing, so that when you're asking the questions that Deborah talked about of your agents, you have a solution. Hey, you know what? I saw this great video, and then you can explain to them what you learned. So that's really your way that you become the better partner to them. I think that's critical. And I do love the fact that, Scott, you're going out there and getting your own sales force of your title reps to do it. I mean, don't overthink it. It's not that hard to give someone free access to a ticket that would be $100. People are going to be excited to be there. I'm going to share my screen real quick, and I'll just tell you what made me super excited. Last year we had Brett Tanner speak. Ironically, I don't think he's speaking this year because he's so busy out touring the world. He just left Arizona, and he's on a 1-year sabbatical with his family. Oh, I lied. I can't share it for some reason. I don't know where it went, but I won't share it. But ultimately, he did a post on Facebook. I'll just read it and then I'll post it later in the group. One of our speakers, her name is Spring Bengston, and he said that he's so proud of her because she grew her core business to sell 450 homes for $217 million in production this year. It's fueled her investment and her lifestyle. That she just bought her own commercial building. She used a cost segregation for huge tax savings, and he talks about some other things she did. But he said, this is the sentence that I loved: all while expanding your business to launch and capitalize additional lanes of revenue, and not to neglect that you were 100% out of production and traveling the world. And it all started by optimizing your real estate business. So Spring is one of our keynote speakers. And I'm like, holy smokes, I was excited to see her before. But when I saw Brett, someone that I know personally and respect, talk about her in his life, I was like, holy smokes, I can't wait to share her all with you. So I would just encourage you, the best of the best in the industry last year bought between 25 and 100 tickets to get their partners to be better. And if you're not in that position, I would do what Deborah said. I would do just a 1 hour thing, do a lunch and learn in the middle of the day, whatever is best for you to get your agents in there and share it with them. And then have them buy it if you're not in a position to buy it for them, but you need it for yourself. I think you've got to start there. And ultimately, I would just say this, right? We just spent an hour walking through, we called it 3 strategies. There was a heck of a lot more. I lost count at like 25 probably, but there's great strategies in here because we talked about it, saying that you need to be the modern local advisor to your clients. We talked about this fiscal literacy crisis on the manifesto and your need to create one. And we talked about the fact that there's easy ways for you to do it without spending money, just investing a little time to help your partners be better. So I'd watch this video again. I'd pick out what are your top 1 or 2, maybe 3 ideas that you want to start executing now and make it happen. That's ultimately what this group is here for. We've got some great links below. Make sure you check those all out. There's just great free content that's out there for you to be better and be better for your partners.
So, Deborah, any closing thoughts for you before I have a quote I want to read, but anything you want to say? You were
Yeah, just that, like several of the loan officers I speak to, they have maybe neglected their purchase business a bit and have been drowning with, refinances. So some of you may need to get back in the saddle or back in the game of even having agent conversations. This makes it a very easy way to pick up that phone and say, hey, I'm hosting a kickoff event. It's going to be November 3rd. It's going to be a lunch and learn. I'm going to provide food. It's been a while since we've seen each other. I'd really like to have you there. We're going to show, a segment from the Modern Real Estate Summit, but this gives you a lean in and makes it a lot easier of a phone call than if you wait till January and you're like, oh, hey, it's like, no, it's Thanksgiving. It's the time to be grateful. Pick up the phone, offer something of value, invite them personally, and, don't be scared just because you maybe haven't done that for a year. This is the perfect time to do that.
All right, guys. So I'm going to share a quote to close this thing out. This quote came in my inbox at like 6:30 this morning. Don Shabaran, our VP of sales here at Mortgage Coach, shared it with our sales team. And the quote is, the purpose of a work family is to help one another become the best version of ourselves, and in the process, contribute to the greater good of society and humanity. Guys, that fires me up. I put a link to that. I actually posted it in the group. And that's the thing I love about what we're doing here, guys, in this community of Mortgage Coach. Hopefully, we're helping you be your best self. And I know we're in mortgage and we're in real estate and we're helping out humanity. We're helping families. We're helping families through liability management. We're helping families buy new homes. We're helping families achieve the American dream, which is financial wealth. So think about that quote. Hopefully you got a couple ideas and you got some ways of taking action. If you got value from this, give it a like, share it with your mortgage friends. And this is a wrap. Have a great weekend, everybody. See you next week.
All right, that was fun. Thanks, Deborah and Scott. You guys rocked.
Thanks all.
Bye. Have a good day.